Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Welcome to Sunday night and episode 6 of our Penguin watch parties. Only 2 more episodes left after this. Kind of sad. I don't know what I'm going to do. Hopefully that leads into more already prepared Batman or the Batman contact. I did watch this episode. This is the first time that I am doing a watch party of this show, and I have previously watched the episode. I had a little bit more time than I expected today, so I won't have to drift in and out and try to I won't have to necessarily leave, for the reason of trying to hear what they're saying because I've already watched it. I do have customers in the store, though, so that might be an issue. But other than that, this episode was very intense and not necessarily with a lot of violence, just a lot of one-on-one conversations. What's going on, Toledo? What's going on, Spider-Man?
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
What's up, Spidey?
Not much. Did both of you
What's
see
going on,
the
Silky
episode?
Smooth? Yes, I did. I stay watching it ahead of time. So, what'd you think so far, William? Without giving it away for those who haven't.
There was a lot of intensity there. There was a lot of intensity. There was a lot of just situations, and you start to understand his motivations are like just, he is determined to,
He's gonna rise to the top.
something out of
He's
nothing.
gonna rise
Yeah,
to the
he is
top. That's what he
determined.
wants. Yeah.
And what he
Yeah.
does in this episode, without spoiling it, is he brings that out of everybody, even the people with power. Every one of these people that he's dealt with has been underestimated or screwed out of something in a way that they feel like they've had something taken from them. And he does a good job of bringing that out to the surface. So, all right, we're going to just jump right into it. I know Brad, I don't know where Brad is, but
Probably like yesterday with kids and Halloween.
yeah, he'll be late. So, all right, so we are starting.
1 hour, -1 hour and 41 seconds is right when it kicks in.
So do you mean from the
from the front side to Ladia, it's 1 minute and 58 seconds. But we have the previews from HBO Max. I don't know if you guys have that.
no,
This is
skipping
after
those.
this is after the previews and the recap.
Yeah, it's after the previews.
All right, I am
Okay.
right at where it says new episodes Sunday at 9 p.m.
That's before the recap. Are you trying to watch the recap?
Let me get out of
Yeah.
it. No, I don't.
On your side, I know how you read it, William, is -1 hour and 41 seconds.
That's what I got.
Because it's
All
an
right,
hour.
cool.
It's
I'm right at where the HBO FUDs is about to go.
Yep.
yeah.
Count it down to Ladia. This is your thing. What's going on,
Brad?
Brad?
Bring you in, or Brad, you couldn't bring yourself in because I know we've had
Yeah,
issues with StreamYard.
Yeah, it was telling me the whole because I'm usually I do it from Google Chrome and that's do it from another web thing tonight because it kept telling me like we can't hook it up with your camera. I tried like 5 times, so I had to switch to a new web browser. And
Yeah,
it's,
kicked
I'm
off
not I'm
Google,
not
right?
I'm not logged in on here, so it's like I guess you had to bring me in this time. Which means
You're one of the
unfortunately,
peons.
which means
You're one of us
unfortunately,
peons.
I'm on the shitty internet, so
Okay.
All right, I'll keep you on time.
so if I fade in and out, one of you guys take over because I'm on the bad internet right now.
Okay,
But
no
haven't
problem.
seen the episode. It's not as important for me to be up in sync with you guys. All right,
No
everybody
problem.
ready?
Yep.
Wait, Zeke wants to know. We're
Go
about to
ahead,
count it in. If you're on HBO Max, Zeke, it's 1 minute and 58 seconds. And we're about to count in right now, Zeke.
All right.
Well, if you're on
So,
HBO Max, you should be negative 141, just like us.
Well, I'm
so-
just saying the front side for those who see it that way, because I see it both
Oh,
ways on
okay.
my TV. So
Okay.
Okay,
Anyway.
you ready, Chilady?
Yep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
cool.
yeah, we got snow.
And you saw this already, Brad?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is new to you, Taladia?
Yeah, new to me.
A couple little Easter eggs in here. I want to see if you catch on to them.
Blackgate. Prison.
This is his best. This is Colin Farrell's best performance in this role this episode.
Okay.
They even better than the movie.
Yeah.
Think so? Okay.
Hold on. Ah, shit. I'll be right back.
It's a good build-up episode
Yeah.
as far as
Yeah.
like.
While William is gone, Brad, we got to talk about Gan. We mentioned Ganapath last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about it?
We talked about it on stream
Yeah, I did.
on the watch along we did for
no,
Evil-
you guys talked about it. Okay.
yeah, on Evil Dead. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Monkey Man's
That's That's
Monkey
good.
Man's
The
life
news is
after
spreading.
Ganapath's raid is what we were talking about.
nice that again nice that that's spreading about that because it's like, come on, when are they gonna put it on disc? When are they gonna put it on streaming?
I
So
think this is
annoying.
a great episode to kind of show their dynamic of Vic and Penguin.
Yeah.
Like William said, I think it's pretty intense setup. I think this is the No Man's Land map, Brad.
Yeah. I picked up on that. Yeah, like
I
I
don't know
said,
if
it
the
is.
way that the way the movie ended, I was really interpreting that as a setup for No Man's Land. So
Yeah,
we're
maybe.
getting that. Which is kind of it's a little bit weird because Dark Knight Rises also was famously and partially an adaptation of No Man's Land.
Yeah, but if New 52 0 year,
Yeah.
the Riddler is the first.
Not
the
a
Riddler
good
and Dr.
one.
Death of the.
We're
I'm
not
just
here to
saying that's the
litigate like anyone's
they
opinion of it. I'm
flood
just saying
the Riddler floods the city. That's all I'm saying, William.
Yeah.
Relax.
Well, no, but when you have something, I just hate when there's something of far lesser quality, and we're watching something that's higher quality and something that wasn't executed.
But he's talking
well.
about the Batman movie that's connected to this, William, and we're talking about
yeah,
the
'cause, I mean,
Riddler
and the way it
flooding the
ends,
No
city.
like,
more Dark Knight Rises.
the way
We're
it
banning Dark Knight
ends.
Rises.
We're
the
not
way-
necessarily
like,
talking about
let me
Dark
rephrase-
Knight
let me rephrase
Rises.
that.
Brad's
Let me-
talking about how No Man's Land he feels has got inspired
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Batman, and I
And
think
let me
it's
rephrase it. Let me
0
rephrase
year.
that.
The way the Batman ends clearly
Okay.
seems to indicate
Why don't we do our
inspiration
viewers?
by No
Let's
Man's
do our
Land.
viewers a service and stick to good Batman movies. That seems simple
Right.
enough,
So, like I was
We could
saying,
also do something
we were
with
talking
good
about the
murders tonight.
Batman.
You think your darkness is your ally? Oh, bonnet.
So, yeah, like where because I haven't had a chance to watch that stream you guys did for the Evil Dead. So like, can you give me like a rough idea of like where you guys were talking about Ganapath?
We're just joking around, Brad. I don't.
We
I
were
don't
like
know when it
joking
fell
around,
in
like
there.
we were
Yeah.
saying, we were mentioning Ganapath.
No, but I mean like
It's a
what,
tradition.
Like where in there where you guys get into it?
I don't.
Hey, Aaron.
We were just talking, right? You know how we spitball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Positive though. It was positive. It wasn't.
I know. I just and
What's
I
going on, Aaron?
I'm telling you guys we're gonna do that watch party. I'll be accepting all of your apologies.
Pretty good. What's the timestamp?
We are at
I got you.
what was it? Negative 56:27.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
That's
She's got a new hairstyle now. This is the one she had at the end of the other episode.
Actually, remind me again, Aaron. Do they or is HBO Max? Is that in Australia yet? Actually, I think Aaron froze. No, there you go.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, is
My
HBO
internet.
Max? Yeah, is HBO Max in Australia yet? Yeah, Aaron, did you get that?
Looks like she's having a freezing issue, Brad. Maybe just give her a few seconds. See if.
Okay. Well, plus I've suddenly gone black here. Oh, there we go.
Something's up with my internet, but StreamYard is having issues. Been having issues for like the last 24 hours. I noticed it during last night's show.
Yeah, maybe that's why. When I try to get in, it tells me we can't sync up your microphone and your. I mean, it's working here, but it's on a different internet browser that usually gets I pull it up through Google Chrome.
You know, Microsoft Internet Explorer, Brad.
Yeah.
Wow, that shit's old.
Is that a little bit of a power move, William? When he's dusting off Carmine Falcone's old wine and drinking it, and
I just think he was hungry and didn't really care about the significance of the age or the importance of the wine. You can see he's troubled by other things beyond food, but he's just trying to get himself.
I don't think so, Zeke. Maybe I'm wrong, but
You think that Vic is Jason Todd?
No, I don't. I honestly don't think you're going to see a Robin in his universe. I think the next time you see Robin on the big screen will be James Gunn's version.
Well, they technically are going to be doing that with Dynamic Duo, so.
Yeah, but it won't. I don't. It just doesn't fit in what Reeves is doing. No, Robin as Hit Girl style, that would be. I think he would quit. Yeah, that fits that comic and that fits that interpretation of those characters. He's already laid the groundwork of how he wants his Batworld to be interpreted, and I just don't see.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do Big Daddy Hit Girl for
or a colorful clown with a green or yellow cape and a red vest and an R on his head. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't. There's plenty of other platforms to have a Robin on, though.
Agreed.
It's just that I don't think Reeves is one of them.
Omega seems to like the Zeke's idea.
You know, Thanagarian Space Hawk. Huh. You know, and the thing about it is like the Robin I most want to see done at some point really would be Carrie Kelly. I mean, that's the Robin I want to see that we haven't seen yet. Is Carrie Kelly, and then of course Carrie Kelly. You can't. I mean, she's in such specific. You know, so i.e. in the Dark Knight Returns, Super
Dark Knight, yeah.
Robin. So it's kind of like you have to sort of plug her into. It has to be with an old, an older Batman. So.
Well, they on
And
Cape
she's
Crusader
only-
they had
she's
all
only
they had
Robin.
all 4 of them, or had more than
She's
4.
only
of them.
Robin for an instant. After
Actually,
that,
She's
not
Robin
even
for a little while, and then she's Catgirl. Then
I actually
she's
had
Batwoman.
I actually have this theory that because the whole thing like Batgirl is in Ben Affleck's script. I have this theory that that they kind of merge Batgirl with Carrie Kelly. Like Carrie Kelly is Batgirl in that version. That's kind of what I think might have happened.
I mean, that's kind of stealing Stephanie Brown's thunder, isn't it? That's her whole thing is being Batgirl and Robin.
By the way, the main reason why you never have a kid sidekick would happen to her.
Stephanie Brown. Spoiler. Yeah.
That's why you would never have a Robin in a situation like that. It's literally child endangerment. And they showed that shit in the comic. They showed it was a Black Mask torturing her to death, and I'm like, dude, it's a fucking minor, and you're doing that in the comic book, okay? But it drives home the point why you would never put a kid in that situation.
She's in
Unless
a bad
it's Damian
situation no
Wayne.
matter what. Because
Well, she is, but
Look
she
what
would never
happened to Jason Todd.
Yeah, that's once again. This is why you would never have that situation, and that's why they strayed away from doing it for so long. That's why when you see Chris
I think
O'Donnell's
that's
80
why
when he's
in
dying.
Batman Forever they aged him.
Yeah, he's a grown ass man. It's Chris O'Donnell. He's a grown ass man. And even in the goofy 66, dude, bro, what's his face is grown. He's a full grown adult. He's not a boy wonder. He's a man wonder.
Anthony, yeah, Cassie Cain was only Batgirl, and also it's Cain Cain because it's not the same cousin family. She's she's raised by Lady Shiva. She's a whole different Cain.
Like in the word sugar cane.
No, Cain like Cain.
Like walking cane.
Yeah, no, walking cane is still Cain.
K-A-N-E.
K-A-N-E is Kathy Cain and Kate Cain, and his cousin, the other businessman.
Yeah,
They complicated that. They needed to simplify all that. By the way,
Spiral. That was the whole point of Spiral.
Language.
Spiral.
With the English
The original Batgirl was running the spy organization, or the original Batwoman, not the Batgirl, but the original Batwoman. That's what they moved her to. Did you like Agent 37?
Like I said,
William?
No,
you didn't like it. It's cool. It's cool.
It's a lot of the whole thing is a lot of clutter for me.
Yeah, but that was
like I said, it better hope I never take over these family of books because there's a whole lot of dying that's going on. Right. Well, we'll bring back the whole, like I said, when I was a kid, we had the 98 underworld. Which one do you want to kill this week? Tex, so and so. We'll get rid of him.
I think Nightwing dying, quote unquote, dying and forever evil and coming back as Agent 37 is better than Lex Luthor being Superman during that time.
What's going on, everyone? Glad to catch the stream. 2 days in a row since my work schedule is running me. Yeah, work is real, man. It'll jam up a schedule just as quick as anybody. What timestamp? Mine got slowed down by my internet.
I got you, Lynn. I got you. Give me a second. Negative 46.57. Negative 46.52.
All right, I got it. Wow, this is all. Depending on how
That's-
shitty the internet is, we could be like in 10 different time zones, man.
That's a classic supervillain layer right there, right, guys? With the penguins
yeah.
running.
Yeah.
His dialogue in this episode is the best it is in the show. This episode is his best one. I know
As Vic,
for a number
yeah,
of different reasons.
yeah,
No, Vic. Well, what Vic goes through makes this his best, but
Yeah.
for Oz, it's his best
yeah.
for a multiple
Okay.
different reasons.
It's a good episode all around.
I like the fact
Taladia
this is
acts like Squid when he's out in the streets. That's how Taladia walks up on his people, right?
Yeah, I'm on the part where he's on the streets, but what was you gonna say? It's an hour long this episode, which is better than last week's, which was 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but for the
Agreed.
most part, this show has not been Disneyfied, giving me like 38 minutes and then another 10 minutes of credits. I mean, the credits in these shows are too long. The credits in this show in Penguin are too long, but at least I get a good chunk of show.
Yeah, WandaVision
Whereas,
has a 35-minute episode that's
Yeah.
billed as 50 minutes because there's that much credits.
Wow, the Cowboys, dude, they got back into the game and then gave up a late touchdown. Wow.
Here's an Easter egg for Brad and William. The jewelry shop here that they broke into, it's called Burgess Jewelry.
Yeah, it's in Burgess Meredith. Yeah.
Yeah, the Penguin from the '66 Batman.
That flew right above my head. Damn, I wasn't even paying that attention. Thank you. I'm horrible when it comes to Easter eggs. By the way, on every show, I've realized I gotta watch these guys who do their own YouTube shows just on Easter eggs because I miss everything.
I think you should give shit a second watch, William, because I think you have the potential to catch more Easter eggs than most people because you know all
probably
the shit.
could. And I would the references, and sometimes I'm like, oh, okay.
There's another one here for Taladia. I want him to see if he can catch it. It's in dialogue though. They don't show it. They just talk about it. Yeah, I like this
The
show. I
looks
think
on
this
her-
is a great.
the look on her face
Yeah. She's good at it. She's
when
good shit.
he does the fire. This is funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is funny to me. She hates that fireplace.
Because it was it was tacky, cheesy, you know.
Tacky. Like, yeah, I know.
Clancy Brown's killing it as Sal Maroni. So that's two DC bosses he kills it as so far.
Well, right here, like I said, first of all, I thought he was going to be dead a couple episodes, so I'm surprised he's still around.
Yeah.
But his anger right here is just hilarious, man.
She's disgusted by everything about Oz. The overdoing it with the cologne, the whole nine.
And she gives him the golf club.
I think it's in this scene, Taladia. Listen to what they're talking about. We might have missed it. But I think it's in this scene or the
I think
next.
we missed it.
I think it's this one though.
There's a swerve here. The writing on this episode is probably in the top 3 of them. I did not expect something. There's something I thought, okay, well, fuck, that's gonna happen, and then it doesn't. And I'm like, wow. And they had me hooked. That's not easy to do on these shows, man.
His mom's been going through it, huh, William?
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of her though. I'm sorry. She's like the one character on the show that I'm like, oh, you again?
But that's gonna be his thing that's gonna make him snap, you know.
Yeah.
That's gonna be his trigger. Whether it's Vic's fault, whether she passes on her own, or she gets exposed. That's gonna be his kill switch.
Yeah, and I think that's what's gonna turn him from the kind and somewhat code he says he has.
To the vicious
I
supervillain version.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's just gonna fucking kill everybody.
Yeah.
That's when I think Sal's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't be one of the top 3. Go ahead, Aaron.
she's the. I said she's the plot device.
Yep. She's the thing that scoots his part of the plot along, his arc, right?
Well, it shows you that he has a human part of him, but as she deteriorates, that it deteriorates.
She's for a real bad example. She's his humanity, like Lois Lane is the Superman. In a real
she's
bad
not
example.
a good human. She's deteriorated, but he still sees himself like a lot of sons do. He still sees himself through her eyes, like trying to please her. She kind of reminds me of The Sopranos, the mother on The Sopranos. That's what she reminds me of. I think that's what she's modeled after on his show in a way.
I would believe you. I think there's a lot of Sopranos influence in her.
And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate from Sopranos. I am one, but he out Sopranos James Gandolfini. He has a harder edge and a more unpredictable and a more relatable. When Tony Soprano was trying to be relatable in The Sopranos, it was all bullshit. You could never. He didn't give a fuck about Chris. He didn't give a fuck about his wife. He didn't fuck about anybody. This guy is actually the kind of mafioso guy that actually cares about. He actually genuinely think he cares about Vic. I think he cares about his mother. Tony hated his mother. He's like, when's she gonna die? When's she gonna kicked off? So, and I think that when they tried to humanize Tony Soprano, it just didn't work because he just was never. He was pure mobster. Didn't give a fuck about anybody.
Well, that's where this guy's going. 2 more episodes after this one, Jimmy.
2 more. I don't know what I'm gonna do after this show's over.
Well, there is. I don't know what you guys are covering Superman and Lois. So,
Brad's watching it. I mean, I'm gonna get around to watching it. I just been too busy. But
We're
Brad's
gonna be halfway. We're gonna be halfway through the final season after tomorrow night.
yep.
Because I'm not quite sure when they're
these 8-episode shows and these 10-episode shows are torture, man.
And then they make you wait 2 years between the season.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of it's like I'm not because they haven't like announced like when the the finale air date is going to be. So we don't quite know when that's going to wrap up, and I'm kind of just run the math on it. And so like tomorrow's episode 5. So I mean, it could wrap up as early as Thanksgiving. I mean, I was expecting it would go into December, but it's like if they do like they did with the beginning of the season where they aired the first 2 episodes that same night, they air the last 2 that same night. Which, seems kind of plausible. It might wrap up by the end of November.
Yeah, it might be set up for like a Thanksgiving finale kind of thing.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? Yes. Wow, they still have a chance to tie this game, even though they had no fucking business. Oh, this interception's a killer today. I'm glad I don't bet on sports. I would be broke as hell.
So a couple of things. Did you see the previews for Absolute Batman #2?
Nope.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I saw him doing this.
I'm going to be a pain, and I'm going to be a pain and ask you the timestamp again because it throws a bit.
I got you.
Mine.
25 minutes and 13 seconds.
This was brutal.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Good conversation. Yeah, 25-20. Yep.
That comic was brutal.
That was brutal. I mean, she comes out killing. It's like with a big giant sword. And there's one scene where one swipe she decapitates like 5 demons, like with one swipe, and the way they drew it was really cool.
The way the panels are is unique as well. That's something I did like about it.
Lots of red, boy. Lots of red.
Yeah, well, I like you see how her pupils are. Her pupils are red, but you see the blue behind the red on the pupils, the way they were drawn. In the
I could have used 2 more pages of the story.
yeah, I wanted to
to
see her fighting the demon a little bit more at the end.
and I wanted to get a more in depth. I mean, they do a good job with their origin, but we'll go on that one. Well, we discussed it last night, but I'm about to do a review after we're done here. I'm going to film my review of it.
Do you reckon this part of like Gotham City it kind of resembles New York City a bit?
Oh, I'm thinking Jersey.
Yeah, I think New
Oh,
Jersey
okay.
as well.
I get Jersey vibes. Maybe it's because of Christine Milioti is from Jersey, and she and everybody seems like they're talking Jersey.
Oh, okay.
That's
I've
me.
never-
But you know what?
I've never been to Jersey or New York, but Gotham is in Jersey in the comics, so I mean
Yeah,
that
my
makes sense.
parents
Oh,
are from
really?
New
I
Jersey.
didn't know
so
that.
Yeah.
I've been to Jersey plenty of times. No offense to you New Jerseyites, man. Coming from California, I can't do it, man. It just
Jerseyites? I'd never heard of a thing called Jerseyites.
whatever they got. Whatever. My
Don't you
parents
guys
grew
got
up
a
in
jersey?
Plainville.
Don't you got a jersey over there, Taladia?
Yeah, but we don't
Got-
call it
got
Jerseyites.
No flag.
No, that's what you call the
Wow.
people. You call the people Jerseyites.
Well, Jersey, yeah, because you have New Jersey is American.
Mhm.
Jersey is actually there, just like New York.
Well, that's what they
fun
call it
fact.
new because Taladia's got the original.
Fun fact. Henry Cavill is from Jersey,
Okay.
Mm.
Superman and Jersey's by Delaware.
And they're,
Metropolis is Delaware in the movie.
and everybody in Jersey is pretty much bilingual because
okay.
it's right near France.
Yeah.
Oh, they did give him that. Wow. They didn't call pass interference on that one. I know a lot of people that got their mortgage bet on this game. Gonna be homeless tonight. Let's see.
William, was this guy in the movie? Do you remember?
I fell behind. You thought what guy? Oh, God damn it!
The senator.
40.
I got you. 28 minutes and 23 seconds. Or negative 34:15. 12, I mean.
Wow. Jesus, what's going on here? I got to get better internet here. This is not cool. I don't recall him in the movie, but there's so many things that I probably missed.
Mhm.
I don't recall him in the movie.
We should have did a
Kinda messed
Batman
up.
watch along right before the show
We
started.
really should. We kept saying
Yeah,
about we
agreed.
need to do that. I don't know why haven't I done that. I mean, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, until they start hitting details, we could do it at any time.
Didn't we
Again, you know what?
already do
Let's
one?
do it. Not the Batman. No.
No, we haven't done that yet.
We could.
Because
We could
there's
probably do it
references
before
to
the
the
finale.
mayor. There's references to the Riddler so far I've caught in this show. There's a few references to the
Well, the
movie
Riddler's
that I
like
just
every
don't-
episode. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, because of with the state of the city, it's like.
And then I just can't remember if this guy is in any part of the movie. I know there was crooked politicians in the movie, but I don't remember him specifically. But they just might be using him as a generic crooked politician, you know.
Yeah, they're just pushing the story of the get the lights on.
Yeah.
He went through all that. Get the lights on.
Right. And it's kind of like it kind of mirrors Batman or Bruce Wayne kind of faltering on the responsibility of taking care of the seawalls and the infrastructure of the city. So when Batman's sleeping and slacking, the villains are on top of it.
I do think either you'll see another Penguin season, or he'll pick up with another character in the city.
Like
But I do
Harvey
think
Dent or
you'll see a
something.
continuation. No, I don't think you're ever going to see Harvey Dent. I think you'll see him, but I don't think you'll get a show. I think it would be Catwoman would be
Okay.
But all depends on what happens out of the Batman Part 2 too, because that might be a bridge character. But I don't need Harvey Dent as Harvey Dent. He's just like I don't need to see him I don't need to see a show dedicated to him personally. But that's just me. I do think you are going to see Batman show up at the end. He may not be the subject of it, but he's this what they're doing is going to get his attention. There's just no way you can be doing all this, and it's going to erupt here
And
pretty
Batman's
soon.
not paying attention to the crime
Yeah,
families
you're not going to be like,
shifting
hey,
around.
what's going on over there? Batman's going to come in there, and he ain't going to. It'll be like 2 minutes. It'll be like 2 minutes, but he'll still be there.
Hey, you want to hit Aaron up with the mute while she's away from the thing?
Is that her?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, there we go.
Zeke asked, did Colin Farrell say he doesn't want to play the Penguin anymore? I think he's probably, I mean, I think he just doesn't, he's talking about like the makeup is, definitely a pain in the butt. So. Okay, Aaron's back. So
Zeke says that the last episode, Penguin's going to take over the zoo. They said crown points by the zoo, though. Maybe you're on something, Zeke.
I want Vic to break out of his stuttering.
I thought that it was going to happen today. I thought
me
when later on in this episode, I thought it was going to come back.
Do you think
Like-
something's going to happen to him?
Not sure.
Victor?
Something will happen, whether it's good or bad. Something major will happen to him. I give you that much. He either gets killed, or he'll be like an underboss, or he'll get his own gang.
Holy shit. He killed somebody.
Yep. He got his bones.
Is this the first time he's killed somebody? I can't remember.
I'm quite certain he's yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say yeah, because I haven't. His entire existence has been on this show, so he wasn't a criminal. Well, he was a criminal, but he was a low level.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, I think you're a couple seconds ahead, Aaron.
I'm sorry.
Taladia got surprised by that one.
I'm sorry,
I kind
Taladia.
of saw him. I saw his death coming from a mile away because
Yeah.
you got to go, dude. But he's basically a stepping stone for Vic to evolve.
ooh.
I thought Squid was gonna present more. I knew he was gonna present a problem, but I thought it was gonna be like more of a problem. Like I thought he was
Well,
gonna get his
Oz
hands
was
on
going to
the.
order him to kill him, but he did it on his own. So it's like,
Well, I figured he was going to somehow get on his hands on Oz's mom or get in the apartment
yeah.
and then create a situation where it was like more tense. But this was good. This was good how they handled this. I liked it. It's a good Vic episode, like I was saying. And the Hangman's not playing around.
Yeah, once this dude started tossing the money back, I'm like, all right, you're about to die.
Yeah.
You have provided no other option for your existence.
What time period do you reckon this is at?
2022
Now?
is what it said on the gravestone when she buried her who got buried the second time after Carmine, her Luca. So when they buried Luca, the thing said 2022. So
Oh,
yeah, it's just a week after or a couple weeks after the other movie.
I'm assuming that they will eventually get around to evening it up when they're ready.
Like a time skip or something. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know if it'll be in
cool.
this show or during the movie or whatever. But
It'll probably be the movie.
Yeah, Antonio, yeah, we're already watching it.
we know. I was figuring I don't know how long it takes for those mushrooms to grow, but he fully replaced his warehouse. So I do wonder how much time has passed since the last episode.
Best scene of the show right here. Best scene of this episode, but definitely. The way she looks around people's houses, like, you live like this?
You think that's her being observant, or do you think that's her looking down on people? Because she did look it down on she looked down on
look at
Oz
the
when he was a driver.
I think it's both.
look
Okay.
at the top at the light. Looks like the penguin's umbrella, the shape
Oh
with the
yeah,
light.
yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good catch.
that is a good catch.
What's going on, Antonio? What's going on,
Do you
Drogon?
find that? I find that that this series is very monotoned with color. There's no
Yeah,
brightness to it at all.
It's supposed to give you the dreariness of their situation.
Gotham's always got that noir kind of feel to it as well, right? So
It's like the opposite to Metropolis, where everything's bright and
mhm.
in your face. But yeah, that's what I didn't know. I didn't know Gotham was based from New Jersey. I thought it was more like New York.
I feel like it's definitely based on New York City because the real life New York City's one of its nicknames is Gotham. So
I think it's New Jersey. That's what I think.
no, I mean it's in New Jersey in the comics.
Gotham is
Yeah,
a
so-
generic term, like for Metropolis.
Hmm.
Like Metropolis is literally a generic term for big city.
Big city area. Yeah. I mean, even though there's the small town called Metropolis.
I've always seen Metropolis having elements of LA to it.
I think because in the Christopher Reeve movies, they pretty much. Remember the first time I saw Superman 2, and they have the Statue of Liberty, Statue of Liberty in both Superman 2 and Batman Forever, and I'm a little kid watching those, and I asked my mom, it's like, wait a minute, are they in New York? Are they in Gotham? Where's it? And it's
it's the Lady of Gotham statue.
Lady of
Oh,
Gotham,
right.
which looks exactly like the Statue of Liberty.
But it holds a sword instead of a torch.
Yeah.
Ah. It's like Lady Justice.
Yeah, except
Yeah.
for there's no balance. There's no balance. Yeah, but yeah, same idea. Gave away the whole game. It's cold blooded, right, William? After she found out what the real deal was
She
with
found out what it is, yeah.
yeah. she put 2 and 2 together, and Sophia gave her another one, and she said, "Whoa."
Oh my god.
So now there's a wrench thrown in Oz's plans by one of his closest confidants.
Yeah, but he always weasels out.
Uh-huh. This is where I thought he was going to get his break the stutter, William. When he started
I'm a little
talking to
bit-
Oz, I figured that's when he was going to break the stutter. Like a lot more confident style.
I'm still on her scene because it drifted back.
I like there's a communication of understanding between these two.
Yeah.
They
Negative
don't
21
don't have
minutes,
to
William.
they don't have to physically say what's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that look, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's been through it. Negative what?
It was negative 20, negative 20 minutes and 40 seconds.
Wow, shit. I don't know what the hell is going on with this lag time.
Brad's got the 1.25 speed on usually, and you got the 0.75 speed on. Brad will be right with us and then get ahead.
I find that they have like a kind of
Compression rate over the internet,
a
so
pseudo father and son relationship.
Yeah, there's definitely that, or definitely a strong mentor relationship, if not father figure for sure. But yeah, I think that's going to play into the whole Victor's fate. I think that's the compelling thing about the Victor Oz relationship, because we know it can't last, at least in the form it is right now, right? So, but maybe we're wrong.
yeah, I can tell you, they've what happened there with those two, with him, with Sophia and the prostitute, went completely in a different direction than I thought it was going to go.
William, you know how he was like, people are going to talk about us. People are going to talk about us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the clue that Vic ain't going to make it, because we know if we're the people talking about him in the comics, like that's the legend. There's no story about Vic in the comics, so maybe that's the clue. Like, you ain't gonna know Vic because he's not one of the ones that made it. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
This was a pretty powerful scene too.
Are you at the
You know
truck?
what they should do?
I'm at the truck where he's
It-
tossing
it's-
them.
It seems like this Vic character
Mhm.
is very popular at the moment.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Lee ends up putting him into canon.
I believe I can
Yeah,
see that.
I could see that definitely.
It's happened before.
You look at Harley Quinn. She was in the cartoons.
Batman
and
animated
that.
series, yeah.
Yeah, and she was so popular that they put her in DC canon. So
Yep.
it's happened before.
More obscurely, Phil Coulson from the Avengers movie got put in the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
He wasn't a real character.
Maybe we should start a hashtag. Put Vic into canon.
Nah.
I don't see Vic being Zaz, Chuck. He just doesn't. He doesn't seem to be obsessed with killing people and cutting things into his skin to prove it. That just doesn't really line up with the Vic character so far. I'm not saying I don't want to see a Zaz. I just feel like this Vic ain't there. And Chuck, look at him as the Joker and tell me that's not a great idea. As far as Sebastian Stan goes. Sebastian Stan Joker. I don't know. And guns shit, not Reeves.
Okay. It's a bit interesting of how Oz
Harley
is.
Quinn, it was 7 years before she actually appeared in the comics after that. It was
How long?
7 years.
7 years, did you say?
7 years. I don't think it wasn't necessarily based on popularity as it was the writer who did the Joker, because I'm reading it right now because I remember I have her first issue somewhere here, and most of the people, because I was in business by then, most people that were buying comics at that time, there was two different audiences didn't know she was in the cartoon because they totally changed her character. The character that appears in the comics has a lot more backstory, and there's actually a lot more disturbing things about her going from that point forward. So I never knew what the decision making was as far as bringing her over. But I don't like I said, it wasn't like
I think you got a blind spot, William. But go ahead if you don't think it was because of popularity. But okay.
Well, then you do it. You don't wait 7.5 years to do it. That's not a blind spot. That's math.
I mean, they're pushing her now, and we all.
Oh, they're pushing her now because of the way the character has been developed in the comics.
Right, but I'm not disputing that she's
Right.
getting pushed in the way she's developed in the comics. I'm
If
just
you'd have
saying
just
that
brought over that part,
she got brought to the comics due to her popularity.
Why did it
Yeah.
take 7 years?
Because the show she was in was 14 years long. That's why. William. She was in Justice League. So fucking Justice League started.
Bane was shoved down. Bane.
You're saying nobody said Bane. We said Harley Quinn. Nobody said Bane. You're saying Bane. Let's keep it in the zone.
Yeah.
Let's keep it in the zone.
Listen, if you guys want to come from the point of view of the kid shit, that's not why she
Hey,
got
man.
into the comics.
I just said she was popular.
If it wasn't for Batman the animated series, we wouldn't get Harley Quinn.
Yeah, but you're talking about the difference between something coming into an
I
existence.
think the
and something
international
being
market
popular.
spoke, William. That's how popular she is.
Why did it take him 7.5 years?
Because you're right in the middle of her run. You're in the middle of
That
her
doesn't
run.
matter.
If you're 7
That
years
never-
in,
That hasn't stopped.
you're
her
in the
from
middle
doing
of her
other
run.
stuff like that.
You made her part of the
That's
biggest
not the way business
criminals'
works, man.
main storyline.
That is
Joker
not
was
how-
around
that is
what
not how retail
65
works.
years, and then
That
they
is
said, you
not
know
how
what?
retail works.
Let's see how well she does if we toss her in there. What do you mean? Oh, the Harley Quinn chick we've been using for 7 years,
That is
and then they
not
went and
how
used her for
retail
another
works, man.
7 years after that, William. You're saying
We-
math? You can't throw math out the window.
I'm telling
I'm telling
retail,
you.
retail
I'm talking
reality,
about.
man.
You're the number one person to bring a character history and being 80 years in the comics and the whole nine. So they waited. They cooked on it for a while, as the kids say, and said, you know what? I think it's the right time to pull the trigger. And she was in the middle of her run. It wasn't 7 years after. It was 7 years after the show started. The show ended 14 years altogether. Their
matter
full
when the show
storyline
ends.
ended 14
Doesn't
years
matter.
after it started. So
It
that
doesn't
puts her
matter.
in the middle based on your math, numbers,
if you're gonna
dates, whatever you
capitalize
want to
on
say.
her, on a comic book, you don't give a fuck.
They got
about
it, but
her
you
running.
can't just toss. You can't just toss like,
Yeah, but if you're-
for
if
an
you're
example,
writing a
in the
comic,
comics, not on the show.
don't
You
care
got,
about her running
what
in
you
the
call it?
cartoon. You do
What's her
not
name?
give two shits
Help me
about
out
her
here,
running
William.
in the comic if
Be
you're
helpful,
gonna-
William. What's his girlfriend's name now? Punchline.
Punchline?
No, Punchline's not gonna last. They threw Punchline in to replace Harley Quinn because Harley Quinn sitting there as Joker's girlfriend was a genius idea, and they've done Joker's girlfriends in the past, but the Harley Quinn one is the one that stuck, and it's the one that they said, oh yeah, this is really, and as you see, it's getting pushed now. So all this time later, they take her out of her status quo, and they still had to fill the spot with Punchline, who you know is not going to last. And that's a comic character that's not going to stick to the 80-year-old Joker character. So we're looking at two examples of the same dynamic. Harley Quinn, they say, okay, let's cook on it, put her in there. About 6.5 years after Harley Quinn stopped being Joker's girlfriend is when Punchline showed up. So it's roughly the same amount of time with Joker without a girlfriend since the debut of Harley Quinn.
So that would have
Math, anybody? I mean, you like saying math. I'm mathing you up, guy.
I'm retelling you up, but your argument is bullshit. But hey,
okay, tell me my argument's bullshit with the facts in line.
I just
okay.
did.
When was the last episode of Justice League?
But okay, now you're going
because that's the same storyline. It's 14 years after the beginning of Batman.
You're like Felix the cat. You just pull reasoning out of the magical bag.
I didn't pull reasoning out of nothing. I pulled math, and I said it was popular. Then you started talking about Bane. Is that pulling reasoning out? That's pulling bullshit out of your ass. We're talking about Harley Quinn. You start deferring to Bane. Bane is not even in. He didn't even get introduced in that. Bane got introduced in the comics. We're talking about somebody introducing the show brought to the comics because Aaron said it would be a good idea to bring Vic in, And we said, oh yeah, that might be a cool idea. And then you gave us the fact. Okay, it takes about 7 years to do something like that if it's really going to work.
No,
And then you started
no.
putting your own twist on it with your own
takes me
bias
8
and your
to do that.
pejoratives. You're calling something that you don't like unpopular. That's the twist with the bias. And then you say it's the kid shit. That's the pejorative.
It
So there's
is.
two things going on there
Did she
that
not
lose
appear
you
in a
the
kid
argument
comic?
before you get started.
Okay, if you want to talk to yourself, I can give you your own show, and you can be the only one.
I mean, I would love to have a show with you just like this.
I'm not going to put anybody
Where we
else
just
on
talk
the screen
about
with me.
Batman all day.
I'm gonna-
And we
I'm
could
gonna
have
give
Clint.
nobody to
We
talk
could have
over
Clint
me.
as a moderator.
No, you don't need a moderator because you're going to talk over the moderator.
I don't need to talk over the moderator.
You just talked over the fucking host of a show. Apparently,
Oh, I
you
didn't
did.
mean to do it like
And,
that.
and look and look at and also look at John Diggle from Arrow. He's brought
Okay.
into canon as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you kidding me?
We can't. Okay, you
He's
guys.
also
gotta
on
do better.
Superman and Lois. He's also on Superman and
You
Lois.
guys got to do better than this. You're bringing up stuff on a channel 18 people watch. All right, so that was the episode 6.
What a way to leave on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So Sladia.
Look at the scenes coming forward, though. You kind of see where it's going. They kind of give up the goose in the preview.
Did you hear the reference to Paulie's Diner earlier in the
Yeah.
episode, Sladia?
Yeah,
You know what that's from?
Arkham Knight.
Yeah, that's where Arkham Knight starts. That's where Scarecrow lets the gas off for the first time, or Jason Todd does. Paulie is a reference to Paul Dini,
Yeah,
the writer.
Holdini up. Who introduced Harley Quinn back in '93.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're all past the previews.
I'm still going through the credits
Oh.
here.
Their credits are long. You can just pass that shit.
Yeah.
It's just like they can show these long form credits at the end of the series. I don't need to see 10 minutes of credits at the end of the show.
They should do like the previews and the credits, because that's what they do with Interview with the Vampire. After each episode, they do a quick preview,
Part.
and then
That's pretty
they do the credits, and afterwards they do like a short documentary of the
Yeah,
making
yeah.
of that particular episode.
I think there's more hints when he's dancing to his mom to the big man music that somehow that's going to play into it, whether or not he has the nightclub in the traditional sense or something. You know what I mean?
Well, she's gonna get killed, I think.
Yeah.
Even
I don't
if
know.
it's by a stray bullet or something. I think she's just gonna get in the way of a bullet. And that's gonna
You don't
be
think it'll be a natural causes kind of thing?
that might be too, but I don't think she. I think she's going to die, but it's not going to be necessarily as a direct result of what they're doing.
Okay.
Because
Think she'll be under Victor's care if when it happens?
No, I think he's gone too.
You think he dies before she does?
I think there's a good chance that they die at the same time.
Interesting.
Because if you look at the previews, he's like, take me to your headquarters. He's not going to give that up. And here's the thing: this is where he's not going to give it up, and he's going to allow them to be killed, or they get killed.
Okay.
His number one priority is being number one. And even though he has feelings for Vic, it's not going to supersede his main thing is to be the top guy in Gotham, and he'll sacrifice anything for that. And I think that's going to be a turning point in his character to where he's like, they're a price that I had to pay to get where I wanted to be. I don't think Maroni's going to. Maroni has survived 3 episodes longer than I ever thought he should, but he served a purpose. I think he goes. I think she may end up making it out of it, but she's going to be diminished in power. She's not going to be. She's going to be. I think what she's going to end up doing, what you saw here in this episode here, is when he's consolidating all those people, I think those people are going to stick with him, and he's gonna be able to. He'll be the top guy, even if she's alive. She'll be marginalized. That's my guess.
Okay.
That'd be very interesting to see. I can't wait for the next 2 episodes on how the direction will be for Maroney.
The last
and,
two.
sorry, the last two
Yeah.
episodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be very interesting
Over,
to see
man.
how things go. Obviously, we know about the family. Oz's mom and Victor with Sophia, but I think what I really am interested to know is the whole drug thing that he's operation. Will that go south or will that go?
Okay.
I think it's going to get damaged because I do think Batman's going to come in. There's
Yeah,
no way.
Batman might shut it down. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way he'll have remnants of it. I think Sophia is probably going to go back to Arkham, or she's going to get arrested, or something like that. She'll be diminished in some way. I think that Maroney gets killed. As far as like if I think the mom goes, I think Vic may go 50-50. But once again, I thought he was going to kill the hooker, and he didn't, or she was going to kill the hooker in prostitute, and she didn't.
Yeah.
And that conversation they were having with each other was probably the best interaction in all the 6 episodes that's been released. That intensity of like, okay, because they've demonstrated that Sophia can just pull out a gun and blow your head off with no warning, no nothing, and you know what she's there for. And then the fact that the girl knew that that's what she was there for, and she was basically, trying to protect her girls. And that's where I think that there was a respect with Sophia, because nobody protected her. Nobody ever. She sees a woman putting her life on the line to protect the people that she's supposed to protect, and Sophia sees that it's like something I never had. She can respect that.
I might add that to that thought. I might add that she also was talking about how her dad, of course, framed her for being the hangman, and he was killing women, right? And then she was Eve was actually concerned about the women, but then Sophia kind of let her off the hook because she didn't want to be killing another woman for a similar reason, or for not the necessarily similar reason, but be in the business of killing women like her father was. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, there was a connection there because the people that he's killing are people that are tossed aside and thrown away, and and they both had that in common. They both had that in common, that they were tossed aside and treated like garbage. So I like the way she just got up and left. That was something I was not expecting. That I thought that they were going to do something to her, and that's how they were going to get to Oz. But they threw that a twist, and then, like I said, the show has amazing writing. I don't think Vic's got long for the show. I've been watching the chat. I don't think like I said, he's not going to be Robin, and I don't think you're going to see a Robin in this. In this universe, I don't think it's appropriate, and
I don't think it would be Vic even if they did have a Robin.
Yeah, and unless you do a major time jump, and Bruce is old enough to be that kind of figure for somebody.
Vic is in his 20s right now too.
Yeah, he's Chris O'Donnell's age. I mean, Chris O'Donnell was like 30 when he was Robin. So, but going back to the Harley Quinn thing, the thing about the adaptation about that, because I was, like I said, I came into business right after that, is I remember the nature of what they wanted to do with that character as far as an abusive relationship, and the way it translated was something else. What ends up, in my opinion, as somebody who sold these books as they came out, what ended up making her character popular was how she was portrayed in the comics, and that struggle that a lot of females, a lot of women, I don't know why I say females like they're machines, a lot of girls in relationships were going through in that abusive relationship. Why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? And I think a lot of people related to that character from that point on in a way that they would have never been able to relate to that character in Batman the Animated Series, because they don't go into in depth until the Elseworld story that precedes that. That's not even canon. And then if you read her character in the last 6 or 7 years, that is not something you connected with on a cartoon character. That is something you had to read, especially if you read Joker and Harleen and some of the other stuff that goes in the Black Label stuff, where they wanted to take that character. I don't think they would have been able to I don't think they would have been able to do it. You can say a character like Firestorm off of fucking Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. She eventually came over into comics. There's no relationship dynamic there. There's no disturbing abuse dynamic there. So when people say that, I'm pretty sure everybody who watches the cartoon is going to say, well, it's because of the popularity of the cartoon. That Harley Quinn that's on paper, that is not the Harley Quinn that's in that cartoon.
Firestorm is the DC character.
Firestorm, Margaret Molecular or whatever. But yeah, the Harley Quinn that you eventually see on the paper, that is something that they would have never gotten, editorial approval with on the Kids Network. They barely get it now. There are times when the editors step in when it comes to the depiction of Harley. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of her deep stories take place in on Black Label. But if you look at the character the way it's depicted, even on her cartoon, if you read it, it's she's funny, she cracks some jokes, but there's something going on there, and disturbing. There's been people who write it, when writing in was a thing and emailing in that, how can you depict this if how can you guys glorify the relationship between Harley and, especially when it became psychological abuse. It's part of the story. But that's where, in my opinion, where the popularity of that character came from, the actual in-depth exploration of what she is in a format where they could do it. I don't think it was a kid's cartoon. And if it was, you were in for a shock in 1999 and going forward.
So what do you think with the beer thing? I thought he was going to poison them at first.
Nah, I always said he needed him. He needed him. No,
I get that. That's why I felt like, that would be stupid if he did it. But you see how he slowed down?
Yeah.
You see how he slowed? So I feel like, is that foreshadowing to when he kills them later? Is
all
that
he
how
would
they're
have to
going
do
to
is
go?
take the wrong bear, because the knucklehead that was throwing him in the bears, he could have.
Right. That's why I was watching for that.
Here's your beer.
Yeah, I was watching for that, but when he took the sip, he stopped and looked around at first, and I was like, then he took the sip. So I was like, is this I figure obviously he's not going to kill him right here, but is that foreshadowing to later? Is he going to break bread with them or have a drink with them later on when they're all making money and they've defeated the Falcones and the Maronis? And then
he might do a Godfather. He might do an end of Godfather thing, but I think a lot of these people are going to get knocked off in the course of the last two episodes because of what's going on. I don't think he's going to make it out of this series. And here's another thing: the Penguin that you see in the comic, you're going to have to transform. This Penguin is dramatically different.
I see a path where it happens though, because my whole thing is you got to be if you're going to be the top gangsters in Gotham, you got to be a vicious motherfucker. And then your gangs have to be feared by you and put fear in the rest of the gangs. Like they go to the extremes. These are the people that fight Batman on a regular basis. It's like you're going to the point of logic. This guy is, because he's like killing all. He's about to take down all the gangs in town. That's some Gotham City shit. Right?
I'm talking about Vic. I'm talking about Vic.
Vic. I don't know if Vic's gonna be an underboss or is he gonna live. I don't know. I'm on the edge of my seat when it comes to Vic. That's all a mystery to me. That's the best part of the show because I don't know what's gonna happen with it.
Yeah, and I
can kind of tell what's gonna happen with Sophia. You figure what's gonna happen with Penguin, but Vic is a big question mark.
Yeah, Vic is probably one of the biggest characters. I feel is going to be a big question mark on where his future lies.
Yeah.
What about Captain Planet?
What about Captain Planet?
Well, that was random.
Now Chuck Cage thinks he's going to be Dr. Victor Freeze.
Captain Planet. That's
clarify, Chuck.
Yeah, that's maybe Vic becomes ice cold and a doctor.
Yeah, like Victor Freeze.
Oh, okay. Also,
Mr. Or maybe Victor Von Doom. Joking.
Well, ice cold doctor and Batman would be Mr. Freeze.
A lot of these possibilities get eliminated by the style of
right.
So a lot of them go away. That's why I don't think I could be completely wrong. I don't know where it would fit. I don't think you'll see a Robin here. I don't think you'll see a character that
whether or not you see a Robin, I don't think it's going to be Vic anyway, no matter what.
Nah, Vic's got blood on his hand.
Yeah.
Vic's a criminal now. Vic's a drug dealer.
But I get the people say that Jason Todd because he has blood on his hands, but I don't see it. I don't see Vic being a Robin.
Yeah, I don't like I said, don't see there being a Robin. Definitely don't see it. The only reason, in the beginning, nah. I like I said, when it comes to Bruce, when it comes to Batman, I think this is all going to come to a head, where the cops are going to get involved, Gotham PD is going to get involved. You may even see Jeffrey Wright in here. I think you will see
Yeah.
Batman, but it won't be significant. It won't be like he's in. You're going to
Or
see
you might
him
see Bruce
stupid.
himself.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna
make
see him
this
stupid.
prediction. I'm gonna make this prediction. I think we're gonna see Jeffrey Wright at the end of the.
Yeah,
last
I think
episode.
I absolutely, because he's a commissioner. He'll probably
And-
he's either a commissioner or about to he's a lieutenant now, but he's somebody that's got to be investigating this. This shit
Right,
just can't
'cause
be happening like this.
There was a huge shakeup at the end of the Batman movie, and then this corrupt mobster, or not mobster, excuse me, corrupt senator that the Penguin was talking to. He was talking about, you want me to put you and your dirty friends out there, and he was hanging out with a couple of police officers and some other people in suits. We could assume were probably like lawyers or like people in the DA's office or whatever.
Yeah, because
So
the corrupt
yeah.
set up in the first
So
one is still pervasive.
Penguin sticking his nose into that. So yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. Yeah.
Do we think Harvey Dent is gonna be in like the Batman universe at one point?
That's good. I don't know. Maybe it could
I
fit
would
with the
I would
story.
think so.
I'm saying no, but once again, I don't know what he has planned. If he is, he's just going to be as a district attorney giving a news conference or something like that, or prosecuting a case. He'll be in there. He won't be Two-Face. I don't think you're ever going to see Two-Face in there. And if you're not going to do Two-Face, be honest with you, I don't need to see Harvey Dent. I don't need to see Harvey Dent. That's one of the things about the Dark Knight that really bothered me, is the addition of him to that story. Because
Aaron Eckhart was such good Two-Face.
No. I'm not
man.
disputing whether he's good. I'm disputing whether you had
I know what you're saying.
space in the movie. Because once I saw Heath Ledger's Joker, that's all I wanted to see. I didn't want to see anybody else in that movie because he drove the story, and he didn't need Two-Face in there to drive his point of him what he was. You did not need him. So
what if they would have set his whole arc up, and even the point where he went to the hospital, and they didn't do Two-Face till the third movie instead of doing what they did with the third movie? You think that would have worked?
Even as Harvey Dent, he takes up too much space. Him and an assistant DA,
But
what's your face? It just
Rachel Dawes. As soon as
Maggie Gyllenhaal's character.
Yeah, as soon as they have the explosion and they put him in the hospital bed, and you even have the scene with the Joker visiting him, you just leave it alone.
But see, once you you could have done all that in the third movie. Once you introduce Harvey Dent,
that's what I'm saying. You could have left right when Heath Ledger talked to him in the hospital bed. You leave that on a cliffhanger. You just don't ever address it for the rest of the movie, and then bring it back in the third. That would have been great, because Bane does suck. At least the Bane in the third Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Rises is a terrible movie.
Why are we talking about Bane here? Because I think that's William's hated topic.
Oh no, it's a
We're talking
Bane.
about
Like
where
I love
the
Tom
movie
Hardy.
went.
The next enemy was Bane, and I don't think Bane should be in a Batman movie ever. I think like I said, you got a top tier actor. Okay, then that's like I said.
They didn't even do Venom. They just explained that.
Yeah,
he was breathing in painkillers or whatever. Like,
stuff, yeah.
So I understand he trained with the League of Assassins, but yeah, that doesn't make it.
Which was as dumb as his original arc. What they do with Venom in The Dark Knight Rises is as dumb as what they do with him on paper. So that's consistently stupid. It's just that you would have been better off with Two-Face in The Dark
William
Knight
doesn't
Rises.
like to see heroes being physically and mentally challenged.
Okay, how old are you?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
He has to put the thing on.
How and Brad, I'm gonna put this out there right now.
How long
more
you been
scary
reading
movies
comics?
for you?
How long have you been reading comics?
About 32 years.
Okay, you got to do better than that then. If you're going to tell me that they needed to create a fucking cartoonish bullshit Muppet-like character to challenge a superhero. If you've been reading any longer, take away the 3. You've been reading for 2 years. You're going to be able to do that.
I know you don't play video games, William, but the way they did Bane in Arkham Origins, I think
I thought you were going to say
it was very similar to the way they did it in Nolan's movie, but not as ridiculous. And they kind of made it like how he was in the comics, where he wore Batman out and deduced his identity. It gets dumb in the end for him, but the way they had them infiltrate the city That was really well done. That's like a really good way
Here's
of
the
doing
thing, though.
Bane. I know. You're gonna
already
play the
had
games,
villains that could do all of this.
but
You
the way they
already
did
Then
it,
why
William,
are they the
Yeah.
only ones we've
the way
seen
they
do
did
it?
it in the game. So Black Mask sets up a bounty to kill Batman's in year 2. Black Mask sets up a bounty for $50 million to find and kill Batman in one day. So, like, of course, Deathstroke takes the contract. All these villains take the contract. Come to find out, the Black Mask has been kidnapped by the Joker, who just got to town. So nobody knows who the Joker is. Batman finds out who the Joker is by figuring out Black Mask MO and doing all the video game shit. But while the Batman is about to confront the Joker, fucking Bane and them take over because the Joker hired them or they not hired, excuse me, they came into town for that same $50 million bounty, and Bane was the only squad of mercenaries or whatever that was getting the shit done. So there's a confrontation where Batman's about to take down the Joker, and the Joker just blew up an office building in Gotham. And right when Batman's gonna go fuck the Joker up, Bane fucking pulls Batman out of the elevator and they start fucking each other up in a fight. It's great how they did that. Now I'm not saying the movie would have been like that or anything, but there's cool ways you can do Bane. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong there, Spidey.
Not at all would have been option A. Like I said, I don't.
Well-
like I said, you could have been you could have started your comic book collecting career fucking Friday, this last Friday, and you could realize that there are ways that you could cultivate characters that are already there. There are ways you can challenge your heroes. You don't have to pull some imaginary bullshit out of your ass to create that. It's already there. Unless you were born in 1938 where they didn't have this shit, then you get a pass. But if you're on this fucking planet with 8.5 decades of rogues gallery for all these characters, and especially DC's case, you just need to fucking write a good story.
All right, I'm gonna meet you where you're at then, okay? Right now,
I'm
if
not.
I
I
had
love
a-
Doomsday. I love Bane. I'm sorry.
if I had a comic book right now, and I wanted a person that was physically imposing to challenge Batman in the comic book, and I give you the choice, and just run with me here because you said that DC had all these characters. Would you rather have Blockbuster or Bane, William? Because Blockbuster was around. So
Tell you what,
would you rather have Blockbuster in that story?
I'm going to meet you where you're at.
Okay.
Because you could take there's any number of people that you can take. First, you get your story structure. What do you want to do with the story? Where do you want to put your hero? Okay. Now, once you've decided that story structure, then you look at the rogues gallery you have. Now, just because they've been written certain ways and before that don't mean you can write characters the way you need them written based on the traits they already have. Any of the non-existent characters, you can put a name on one. That's fine. You don't really have to. You could pick the one that your story comes first. And if you once you have your story structure there, then you go to this rich catalog, and you take those pieces and you craft them around your story the way they've been doing it for decades. You don't need to create some. Oh, he needs to be challenged. What the fuck is every page of Batman ever been?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he's being
10
challenged
times bigger,
by what's out
10
there.
times more powerful. That's what I want to see to take on.
Bullshit villain to do something that you already have 8 decades worth of villains to do.
Yeah, but they're not 10 times bigger. They're not 10 times more powerful.
Let's say I'm writing. Let's just say I'm the one writing.
That's like bad wrestling booking. That's like horrible wrestling booking.
All flaws accepted. I'm the one writing the character, and so would you rather, as the seller, have me write a story with Batman versus Blockbuster, or would you rather have me write a story of Batman versus Bane? What's going to sell you more books?
The story.
Okay.
The story is going to see. This is what you guys don't seem to understand. You're using surface elements that are bullshit when it comes to story structure.
Oh, that is so simplistic. I'm sorry.
No,
that is so
it's simple. That's why it's not complicated. That's the point. It's not fucking.
I'm not the biggest fan of Bane, but I'm just
simplistic.
using that as an example because I feel like you brought up recency. I think yesterday or earlier today, so that's why I use somebody further back like Blockbuster versus like a Bane or something like that. But that being said, you have stories like Secret Six and things like that where you need mid-tier villain teams.
Tell me the story you want to write. See, here's the thing. None of that matters. You write your story.
Okay.
You write what you determine the goals and everything, the ebbs and flows, what you want to put in that story, and you take the characters that are there. You don't need to create a big giant 7'2". Like I said, that's poor wrestling booking. That sounds like some shit I'd see.
Bullshit, you don't. No.
1983,
No.
1984.
I need somebody new when we're doing the death or the breaking of the character.
Bobby the
Okay?
Brain
This
Heenan
needs to be an event. This needs to be something
you
groundbreaking.
can make
This
it,
needs
if
to
you're
be
a good
something
writer,
memorable.
you can make
it
it an
can't do
event.
that if the character's already been around that long. It needs to
Consider
be new.
this.
It needs
An
to be
event.
fresh. It needs to be just out of the blue. It needs to just come
No,
out
it
of nowhere.
doesn't.
That's what I
No, it
value.
doesn't.
Yes.
So
Yes,
That's
it
some
does.
hot shot
100%
bullshit.
it does.
It does not.
Yes, it does.
It does not.
So consider this,
Spidey,
Brad.
Story first. Story.
Okay,
first.
so just consider this, Brad. I see what you're saying. Consider
Yes.
the year that came out. It was 92 or 93. Bane came out.
92.
So from Williams' perspective, as a fan and a shop owner, that was the beginning of the obnoxious 90s.
Yeah,
That's the thing, right?
that was why
So when he's-
Spider-Man's was so.
Yeah, and here's the thing, William. Here's the thing William wants to tell you about. Here's the thing William wants to tell you about that though. Is that starting his shop then, and he says like a whole bunch of other shops went out of business to do that, which means William directly owes the success of the Sci-Fi Center to the death of Superman.
All right. So William,
You thinned out the competition.
William,
I'm
not gonna totally agree, Brad, but I'm gonna kind of agree. And this is what I do have to say. A character
Right,
like
that's
Bane,
good.
a character like Deadpool, which I know you don't like because from that same era, and a character like Doomsday, they all three stood the test of time. Because most of those obnoxious 90s characters didn't even make it a year. You know what I mean?
I think Deadpool, me not liking Deadpool, that's different from what the story structured.
But
Deadpool
I
coming
just
in-
used those as examples from that period. That
Yeah, I
of
don't know
all
if
the
they're good
choices you
examples
could have had,
because of-
those. But Bane is still around. Doomsday, for all intents and purposes, is still around. I mean, he just is an
so
episode
it's
of a brand
Mitchell
new show.
Piddlestick or whatever the fuck. I mean, doesn't mean
Right. But they've done things with that, like Emperor Joker. I mean, they've played with that.
When you brought in, I almost called him Daredevil again. When you brought in
Stop doing
Deadpool,
that.
the purpose you're bringing in characters like Bane and Doomsday are the flaw in those characters to begin with.
You can say that they're the
they're
exception to the rule because,
And by the-
like most of the characters that came out around that time didn't last, or they got flushed out or killed off or whatever.
Oh, by the way,
They
same
did
thing with
last.
Null. I have the same problem with Null.
I don't think Null is a well-written character at all.
But
I
it's, to
think
me,
Donny
it's the
Cates.
same.
I think Donny Cates is trying to do what Bendis is doing and try to make as many characters as possible so he can get credits in movies.
But it's
so he
like
can get paid.
let's not write. Let's create. And let's go back. Let's go back even further to the shittiest, dumbest fucking villain ever fucking created, the Beyonder. You're sitting around a table and you're like, I'm out of ideas.
Let's
Just
throw a
admit
Deus Ex Machina in the story, literally.
Spidey, you made-
you're out of ideas. Get up from the table and go fling burgers or something like that. The Beyonder and these characters are like, we need a god. No, you don't need a godlike character. You don't need a big hulking character. You need to write the story to make the ones you have compelling. That's
No,
literally what
you
you
need the
do.
big hulking character. I'm sorry.
You
Sorry.
don't.
You need no. It's like
It's like Andre the Giant
it has
Hulk
more
Hogan.
impact when he's fought 10,000 villains before and suddenly
Andre the Giant Hulk Hogan, the worst wrestling match of all time.
But wait, Aaron,
Ooh,
pull that back up again.
Hulk Hogan's never going to overcome Andre the Giant. He barely
I-
broke his back.
I can't
body
quite see
slamming him.
Aaron's. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm ignoring everything you're
is
saying,
that?
William,
You're
right now.
doing
I was trying to see what Aaron's sharing. Oh, I think she's
I
sharing.
can't see what it is.
Yeah,
Right.
it's kind of got a little glare.
It's a kangaroo.
Oh, it's a
Oh.
kangaroo.
She's
Is
trying.
that one
She's
that's
trying to
in
cheer
front
you
of
up with the kangaroo
Oh,
box.
it's a box.
I'm
boxing
not
kangaroo.
mad. I'm just, dude, you don't need, you just write better. That is like the elixir to a
Okay.
lot of the shit that's happened in comics.
So,
in
do you
general.
remember when
Write
Snyder?
better?
Do you remember when Snyder came up with Mr. Bloom? Do you think Mr. Bloom is going to last the test of time like a Bane does? Like Mr. Bloom was kind of.
Well,
a lame
here's the
villain,
thing.
right?
There are a lot of bad characters that have been, especially since like maybe 1985 and up. There's a lot of bad characters that are. I'm trying not to watch fucking Kangaroo.
Yeah, I'm ignoring everything Williams.
It's
all this
okay to
nonsense
laugh,
about
Williams.
Bane,
It's okay to have a good time,
Bane,
dude.
because I'm watching the kangaroo.
But no,
by the
listen,
way, Williams
write
Bane is in the Bane is in the chat. I can't pull it up
stories.
because again,
I'm
for
already
whatever
giving
reason,
up on the chat because I know the
Stream
chat's
Yards
going to fill up with all kinds of crazy.
not
crap.
working with me. But it says, does anyone remember what any other villain did to the bat? I respectfully rest my case. There you go.
That's it.
Okay.
Because you can take the death of Superman, and do it without Doomsday. You could.
Which other villain killed Superman?
You can't imagine.
Which other villain killed Superman?
Anybody that Darkseid decides to empower to send after him.
Which
Cal
villain
back
is associated with killing Superman?
Send Cal back after him. Send a new god. Hell, turn Orion. Orion
Which villain has a singular claim to fame like that?
Leo,
it's like you hear,
Lex
just hear their name.
Lex Luthor's
You
clone
hear
from
their
the
name. The
future.
first thing you
You're
think of is
looking
Lex
at it in
Luthor.
retrospect. I'm talking about when
Lex-
they actually came up with this shit. You have
Lex
people
Luthor-
that could have done the same thing if you write it
Lex-
that way.
But
Lex Luthor's clone from the
hundreds of
future.
times before, and it doesn't hit the same way. If you have a villain he's faced 10,000 times before. If you have
He's
one
never
that's
faced Orion on that level
suddenly
before.
come out of nowhere, it's like, holy
Dude,
shit!
Brad,
this is somebody
this is-
I've
Brad,
never
I
dealt
got
with.
I have an answer. You said who killed Superman? Leo Quinham, who's Lex Luthor's clone from the future, tricked Superman into getting too close to the sun, so his cells got
Yes.
overloaded.
Before you say yes,
And they killed
I
him.
am well aware there have been other death of Superman.
okay. But
And just like the comics, Captain Marvel endorsed Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah. He's going down. He's going a bit. I think it's pretty clear he's going through a bit of a downward spiral right now.
who's this?
Zachary Levi.
Yoga, I love you, man.
Oh, that Captain Marvel. Okay,
I
yeah.
didn't bring it up. And B.
No, it's I think he's actually kind of in a little bit of a. He's if I were like part of his family or friends, I'd actually be a little bit concerned about him because he's really seems to be like he didn't take the flopping of Shazam Fury of the Gods well, clearly. So I think he's kind of,
Zachary Levi.
yeah.
That's what they're saying.
And
Captain
Harold
Marvel.
and the
His
Pepper.
career before our
and the
very
Pepper
eyes.
Brain.
He's
Say
ending
again?
his career. He's ending his career before our very eyes. And listen, I don't give a rat's ass on how he feels politically. It's how a lot of people have different political leanings. It's how
he's
you
letting
present yourself.
he's putting his dirty laundry out everywhere.
Yeah, and when you make yourself a liability because people just don't want to deal. Making movies is hard, and they don't want to bring on somebody with that kind of liability.
Yeah, this is really. I mean, this is like self-immolation, kind of what he's doing.
Chuck Cage also has an answer for you too, Brad. I'm gonna have to go ahead and agree with him. He said Goku. I tell you, when Goku beat Taladia, when Goku beat Frieza, that's it. That Superman is not stronger than when Goku beat Frieza. Currently, Goku's like 4 billion times stronger than when he fought Frieza.
Superman is the optimized Goku.
And this goes to every viewer that we will have and will ever have and currently have. It is a show that talks about comic book characters and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if you know, I decide what gets talked to death. You as a viewer, I'd love to have you forever.
You
can
decide
go away.
whether or not you want to follow us, dude.
You can go away. I will decide. I created a platform for myself, and I've invited people on it who want to talk about this. If you're not one of them, what do you want me to do? I mean, you know, sorry, but anyway. But like I said, I think just the writing just needs to get better when it comes to these things. I think, and like I said, the Beyonder, to me, I put the Beyonder, know all of them. Yes, they're drastically different characters, but they all were created for the same bullshit reason. Because these guys got to a point where they could not put the nuts and the bolts and the bones to a story using the plentiful assets that they already have. I mean, if you go with Batman,
but
you
it
literally
doesn't
most
land
of their rogue
the
characters,
same
most of their rogue
way
gallery
unless he's
needs to be written better to be
new
with.
and powerful. He's never fought before.
I don't need him to be. I don't need him to be the wrestler of the week.
Do you guys?
What is the goal of your story? What is the goal of your story? That's where you start.
Brad and William, as a kind of a big badass that got introduced last second to be a challenge to Superman kind of thing. What do you guys think of like Superboy Prime?
Now,
I love fucking Superboy Prime.
The problem with
you see how
Superboy
it can
Prime
be different, Brad?
is they remind you of just how they fucked up the character of Superboy over the last 40 years.
I get it, but
it's really hard
so
to follow.
Fucking powerful.
Well, Superboy could wipe out Superboy Prime and Superman by himself. Remember that. The real
Superboy Prime is the same Superboy. That's the same one with
the one that in Action Comics, the one that came through that the Time Trapper was manipulating. That's out of all of them, he was the one that was the most powerful.
William Aaron tagged us in the kangaroo video on Twitter.
Okay, then I can watch it over and over again. Cool, but no, see, like I said, and a lot of this with Superman, and I love John Byrne. He's a fucking legend. A lot of this storytelling, just I call it hot shot. It started with him, and it started with Crisis. It was right around the 1980s, mid 80s, where it
Burton
just
was
seemed
after
like
Crisis. Yeah.
yeah, because you had Secret Wars
Yeah.
and you had Crisis all taking place pretty much
Yeah.
within the same 3-year span.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you guys, you've done better than this. You guys, if you want to see how, like I said, the story structure to build up your main character to somebody who can take him down by using characters you've already had in the comics, Walt Simonson did it for you from 1983 to 1987. This is how it's done. This is how it's done 40 years ago. This doesn't change. The story structure, everything he used to damn near kill and practically did kill Thor, and this storyline had been around forever. He did not need to create a bunch of goofball characters I need a brand new character he's never faced before. There's nothing non-entertaining about his run. This is the way he did it. His story structure is the same. He decided, this is what I want my character to go through. This is the level that I wanted to go through. And now I look at what is available to me. All right. And that's what he used. That's what he
and
did.
how many people who aren't comic book store owners remember that story?
Most of them. You're not going to find one here that didn't. You're not going to find one here.
That's my point, guys.
They're on their way out if they did.
William is in business today because Death of Superman thin the competition for him.
Okay, I know you're being funny because
it's factual.
What about X20? What about X23, William?
What do you
came out in the comic? She came out in the comics in a shorter time span from a TV show. And was she a boost of sales at all? In your opinion, is she a good, well written character? She came from X-Men
She's
Evolution.
a well-written character, and her backstory and the character she's immediately associated with, all that came together. There are times when that came together. That's fine. There are characters that come around in time, and like I said, what is that? What is that? Hold on, I gotta move. Okay. The characters can have a significant impact and be around for a short time. The difference is when you bring in that character be this end all be all. That's where it fails for me because it's like now this character becomes everything it needs to be to do this, and that's how you wrote him. You basically had writer's block, and here we go with that. Whereas how I'm more interested, and it sticks longer when you tell me a character about Batman. Like I said, we got movies right now where I have yet to see a proper Ra's al Ghul, and he's been around long enough. I've gotten a poorly done Bane before I got a correct, a properly done. And you had Liam Neeson. You had a guy.
Listen, William, stop picking on Batman and Robin for the bad Bane.
I almost forgot about that. You know what? I almost had that out of my head.
You said poorly done Bane.
The Dark Knight Rises bad Bane is enough. The Dark Knight Rises bad Bane is enough for me. And I love Tom Hardy. It's just nothing he could do with that role. And it just, and like I said, the whole thing about when you bring these characters in, and that's why I'm all like, if you're gonna do Venom and Noel and Spider-Man 4, where is the development of your character and everything around him for that to even matter? That's where these things fail, is when you're like, we gotta jam this character in there because he's at the top of my brain. Gotta jam this. No, because all you're doing, it's like you're making a salad, right? And you start off making a salad, right? And you say fuck, and you just open up the refrigerator and you close your eyes, you throw everything you put your hands on in that salad. Now the salad's gonna taste like shit. That's what's happening here.
No, it sounds delicious.
Yeah, okay. I'll make one for you when you're out in Vegas. And
And by the way, anyway, Anthony, I can't answer because StreamYard's, it was really freaky and so I can't pull up comments right now, unfortunately.
I got something about what you were saying yesterday, Brad. You were asking, or you were speculating on the books that might be coming on Absolute.
Yeah,
I think that Absolute Legion of Superheroes might be a thing only because when you get to the middle of the All-In special, Darkseid's surrounded by a Legion of Superheroes that he controls.
Yeah.
And they all kind of look different and older. So
it all depends on how they reconstitute Batman or Darkseid too, because remember because of what happened.
Yeah.
That was just weird, but it works. But here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
We're telling an absolute Batman story, right?
Uh-huh.
We're not shitting out. We're not squeezing out an enemy out of nowhere. We're using one that's been around for 5 decades. That's how you do it.
Doesn't have the same impact if he's not somebody new that suddenly he doesn't know how to handle?
Why?
Because he's
where
new.
does this
I've never
impact
met
you
it's
see,
like
though?
what?
The impact is not, the impact was not Doomsday. The impact is not Bane. The impact was the story. If you tell the layman, which is what they relied on to inflate those books, you tell the layman we're going to kill Superman. It could have been Tom and Jerry with a giant mousetrap. That's the story. That's what fueled that story. That's where you started at. Okay, you're going to start with we want to kill Superman, which is okay, fine. That's where you start wherever you want to. That's the genesis of your story. That's what was going to sell that book. Doomsday wasn't what's selling that book to a guy who was never going to read another comic book in his life. Killing Superman is what sold that book because they were desperate for sales. Batman being broken.
Wait a minute. Did you just admit that Superman sold well?
I never did. I never admitted it didn't. Okay, here's where. Okay, and I'm not going to call you any lesser intelligent. Here's where you're not understanding this. Is you can have something that interests the market at a lot. Everything it's selling fine and everything else. You have to understand why people were buying it then to understand how it affected circulation and how that became a trend. The circulation is what kills you. So we're talking about this, right? We're talking about absolute, right? So now we have a core demand of people in less print run and everything else, or an appropriate print run. And we're not going on speculator. Scott Snyder was not going on. He wasn't printing 500,000 copies and putting them in circulation. And then those things are being circulated to the point where they're worthless, and then, people followed that example. What hotshot story can we do to get Joe Average in here so we can sell books right now? Yeah, it's like heroin. You feel great when it's in you, but eventually you're coming down. And what happened is all this stuff was a high, and then it wasn't. And a lot of people based their futures and stuff on, the Death of Superman sold out, and everybody. And for a while, somebody was charging $200 for one of the black bag issues that I got. I will gift wrap to you. But at the time, it looked like this was going great until it wasn't. You had the chromium covers. Valiant's guilty of it too. So when you're saying something sold at any given time, that's wonderful. But we're not necessarily at that time, we weren't in the business of just selling brand new stuff. We had to have things in circulation to keep our normal people in. That wasn't it. That's why the market really started to crash from 1993 and never really recovered. It never really recovered the way that it needed to until maybe the early 2000s. And even still, it's not where it was. This right here with the Absolute Universe, for me, and for our deal, has been the closest to that kind of excitement where actual core readers are excited about something. Now, if you have
Ultimate came out in 2000, right?
Yeah. When they killed that brand, and the same thing with Ultimate. The Ultimate stuff that's selling right now, that is core buyers driving the market instead of speculator buyers. You can build a number in a business off of core buyers because their behavior is more consistent than somebody that just walks in saying, "What do you think is going to be worth something in 2 months, 3 months?"
You don't feel like the New 52 was an adrenaline shot at all, or do you think it was 100% detrimental, or do you feel like there was a boost?
It was an adrenaline shot, but it was what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about New 52 and Flashpoint, and those
it killed all the other storylines that were going on. Yeah.
All right, and you're going to hear me say this over and over and over and over again. Continuity is cash. Continuity, being able, as a customer, being able to supply or to rely on whoever's supplying you whatever it is that you are getting from them, that is cash. That is how empires are built. When you break up the continuity, you break up the cash. When you tell somebody that what you've been reading for this amount of time is no longer continuous and no longer is relevant to this big flashy thing that you're wanting to tell me, dude, it's like a marathon. I ran this marathon for you. I got to the finish line, and then you erased the finish line. And not only did you do that, you asked me if I want to run another race again. So a lot of people that were invested, and even if you look at a lot of the personnel that were involved in those stories, a lot of them walked away because they were working on things that mattered to their individual books. And we had the Overlord come in and basically wipe that away. And he was going to do it again with Doomsday Clock. I will never be able to prove it because it never happened. But I truly believe that Jeff Johns was going to use Dr. Manhattan to reset the universe again and do another reboot, another reset. And the editorial staff finally said, no, we can't do that.
Do you think Rebirth was a good compromise of a fix? Or
No.
you think
No.
Okay.
No. Once you did Crisis and you had
they overdo the damn Crises. That's the biggest problem. They should have left it at Infinite Crisis. Final Crisis was cool, but Infinite Crisis, they should have just left it alone there.
Honestly. Well, yeah, because Final Crisis and Infinite, a lot of that stuff was undoing the Crisis. If you look at what those two stories were doing, those were undoing the Crisis. So what you're basically doing is another Crisis type event that jams up your continuity. Final Crisis and Infinite Crisis, things like that, were starting to restore aspects of the storyline that had been erased and hurt them in the previous years. Then you go and you do these things, and like I said, it broke up the continuity of the books for a while.
Infinite Frontier, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths.
And look how many of those books. Look, a lot of those books. Look how many of those books are either struggling or are gone from that last 10 or 12 years.
I mean,
yeah. So
the Dark Crisis got renamed because it wasn't selling, so they called it Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths.
You got your high, but like a junkie that's looking for a next fix, it's really hard to maintain these type of storyline. That's why I say story has to come first. You can't do a hot shot cover story all the time because it's not sustainable.
Do you think Marvel did a better thing with All New, All Different once they did that last Secret War they did? So they kind of did a New 52, but it wasn't as
they did a Crisis. They did a Crisis in my opinion.
That's what the Civil or the what is it? Secret War.
Yeah,
not Wars. Secret War 2015.
Yeah, I hated that. Yeah. I hated that because what that did.
It was cool. It was a cool ending. It was a good settle up for Doom and Mr. Fantastic. It was a good little showdown.
You could have done that without consolidating a lot of that. What we ended up with.
I understand that.
Yeah, that really. And look what we did. You look what we did. Ultimately, all that stuff went away, right? Look where we're back. Ultimate's back on the shelf again. All these universes that you consolidated are back on the shelf again. Mars Morales is still outselling normal Peter Parker anyway, even though you got him living. See,
but that All New, All Different led to that Miles Morales getting brought into.
And I thought that was a mistake. I never thought, and I will stand by this now, especially with Ultimate stuff doing as well as it is now. I never thought that they should have ended the Ultimate imprint. Every time
I don't either. I thought that was good. Ultimatum was a weird kind of like
Ultimatum. Okay, you had a bad day at the office.
They had those cool Ultimates annuals, the Avengers ones, the Ultimates. That was great, and they didn't come out. They came out like once every year, once every 3 years. They didn't overdo it. That was like really cool.
No, and you had some storylines that they took risk and they were allowed to because they were in a
because it was a whole separated.
Yeah. Once you eliminated that, you took away the risk, and once again, you took away the storytelling aspect of it. So I hated when they did that. Like I said, just like with Crisis.
Do you feel like Absolute is the closest thing to original Ultimate that's probably going to happen for DC?
Oh no, because DC never really needed an Ultimate brand. The thing about DC is now that.
So you think they're going to come to a head then?
No, I think these universes are sustainable.
No, that's what I'm saying. Do you think that this universe, because Booster Gold is in the Absolute side, so do you think there's going to be like a showdown, or you think they're all going to go against Darkseid, or you think
there's going to be a showdown? I think they're going to go up against Darkseid, but I don't think you're going to see the consolidation of either universe. I
don't think it'll consolidate. I'm just saying
I don't want to see them consolidate. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far.
I don't know.
I think there's going to be some spill, because obviously the Justice League on our side, the new Justice League Unlimited on our side has the ability to go to other dimensions. It's in the Watchtower, so I mean,
I think that it's gonna stay. I don't know how it's gonna wrap up. I do know it's gonna wrap up with Darkseid and the formation of what they're gonna do over there. But once again, and like I said, what he's doing is what Scott Snyder is doing is not new. It's just been given up on in the last 30 years, and that's just good writing. That's just good storytelling, making me care about characters that are already there. You have a problem if you think you need to create something new to make me care about the story. If you got a job writing something, on that level, when I'm talking about a flagship character, you really should be qualified enough to make me care about what's already there. And Scott Snyder is doing that. And they weren't doing that in the 90s. They
And he's
weren't doing
doing
that
it by taking what you know about the people you should care about and turning it on its head,
Yeah.
so you're still interested.
You should be able to give me the shittiest Batman villain that you can get. Give me the shittiest villain of anyone you should get. If you are worth your job, you should be able to make a compelling argument for that character being able to do this to this character, or this to that character. You should be able to make it. And even if you're doing a different interpretation, I'm going to give you an example. Joker had not done anything like he did to Barbara Gordon until Alan Moore wrote it that way. I didn't need to create a new clown. I didn't need to create a new serial killer to have that type of impact on that character. I used one that had been around at that time about 60-something years. But he wrote him in a way that made you feel, okay, this guy is dangerous. This guy could do that. That's all I needed to do.
So you're telling me people didn't think the Joker was dangerous previously?
Not in the manner that Alan Moore presented them in 1989. That shit was that dude. They had to put that with the adult comics. That was what Alan Moore. He's an asshole, but he's a genius.
Well, he's back in the news, by the way, if you didn't see.
Oh Lord, I don't want to see.
What for?
Oh, he penned something in a Hollywood Reporter about not toxic fan, or not even like about toxic fan. He just says like fandom has become toxic.
Well, I might even agree with him. But when in 1988, when him and Brian Boland put that together, nobody ever expected the Joker to be able to do that. But that's what you did. You reached in to what the core of the character was, and you evolved that character. You didn't need to create something new to be compelling to that particular character. You don't need to you don't ever need to do that. Is it fun sometimes? Yeah, but it's not sustainable.
Just as an aside, speaking of Alan Moore, Brad, everybody, do yourself a favor, read Alan Moore's Miracle Man.
Oh yeah.
That shit's wild.
Yeah, I would, and like I said, now when we're talking about Venom and stuff like that, see Venom out of those three, and that's why I'm moving him up slowly off the ban list, because he hasn't been the be all for anybody, that's for Spider-Man. I mean, he's basically, for most of his existence, Venom has not been a Spider-Man villain. He hasn't even been.
He's more of an ally. And for a big chunk of it wasn't even Eddie Brock as Venom.
Yeah,
Matt Gargan, Flash Thompson.
But no, I think what happens, and this is why I love what Snyder is doing. When you do things this way, you create a sustainability about the market, a balance about the market, not just some guy coming in off the street saying, I'll take 20 of these copies because I think, it's on the news. Oh, you created some new guy that can shit fire and kryptonite and kill my guy. Wow, that's so no. What you do is you tell even, balanced, consistent, sustainable stories, and that's where your consistent sales come from. This is the kind of thing. If I'd have had Scott Snyder in 1992 doing these type of things with Ultimate Batman, who knows? Are people like him? We may have never had that crash because they would have never just gone for the moonshot like they did then.
Let's use the death of Superman. Let's take Brad's argument. If you take the existing character, Bizarro, and you have him show up, do what he did to the Justice League, kill Superman with a punch or knocking him back into the ground the whole nine. Is that as impactful as having a giant, hulking, brand new, unkillable monster to come do it?
Perfect example. I'm glad you used that.
Yeah.
Depends on
short answer, no. Long answer, no.
No. It depends on how you write that character. It depends on how you build it. There's a lot that has not been done with Bizarro. There's a lot that hasn't been done with, just like the Joker. There's so much that hadn't been done with the Joker until Alan Moore did it. If you are that kind of writer and you are handling anything associated with the Bat or the S, you need to be in the upper 2 percentile of writers to begin with. So you could take, you could take another character. If you are worth your check, you should be able to do exactly what you're asking, Spidey. You should be able to take that Bizarro. You should be able to write a compelling story about that Bizarro. It's your job to make me believe that guy can do that. That is literally what you are there for. That is literally, it's not Hot Pocket. It's not microwave where you just come back in 5 minutes and everything's done. You literally are there to create the infrastructure to convince me to make your case. All right, making your case is not pulling out a, well, this guy can do anything. It's Mike, he's 10 feet tall. Wow, what a challenge. No. The reason why a good writer could take a Bizarro is because that's what they used to do. A Scott Snyder, I need to get him. Dude, Scott, if you're watching, please come on to this show. Scott Snyder.
Can we get his contact info?
I'm working on it. Buddy. It's probably going to be taking.
Yeah, I get the interview, Brad. But make sure you get it after
Michael Jai White. Yeah.
If Scott Snyder were writing the story that you're talking about, Spidey, that story is going to be as compelling as anything else he's done because he knows how to do that. He will make me care about that character to the point where I would revere him more than any other new character. You can do that with any of these characters. Bizarro is probably one of the characters in that respect.
I got one just with the example. Take Brad's argument. Let's reframe it. Put him in the modern thing using your writer as an example. Scott Snyder made a big hulking new villain named the Batman Who Laughs, and he went from a very compelling character to a very overused character in a very short amount of time. That's the same idea.
Scott Snyder wouldn't do that, but okay.
But it happened already. The Joker or the Batman Who Laughs, in my opinion, has been overused already. He was perfect.
Now
in
we
his
go back to
introduction.
the story. We go back to the reasoning, the reasoning why we came up with the Beyonder, the reasoning why we came up with
1000 in the chat, and you got a new guy, by the way, G Nort.
Oh, Nort. Oh, jeez.
Okay.
All right.
We got multiple Green Lanterns. In the chat
we're probably gonna. By the time this is over, who knows how we're gonna have it.
You get a whole Green Lantern Corps.
When you're talking about now the character, now we go back once again. We go back to the story. We go back to the why. What are your goals of doing this? Because when the Batman that wasn't to be the end all be all for Batman.
Well, that was the end. His whole creation is Batman Who Laughs existing is the creation or is the end of his universe.
Well, yeah,
his whole universe died as a result of his being born.
That wasn't that tail end of that story. I'll tell you that I love that character. Wasn't good.
I'm just talking about his introduction. Because that's how he got introduced. His universe died because he was brought into his universe.
Yeah,
his tragedy happened, and his universe died his Justice League died within a week. His universe died within.
But look at the uniqueness in the Batman Who Laughs story. We're not just saying big dude can take on my hero.
No, yeah, the way they ended it in the Batcave was awesome, William. With Batman the Joker versus Batman Who Laughs, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way better storytelling.
That's good writing. But then if you get to later on when Batman and Dark Knight's Metal or Death Metal, to me, they used the same guy twice, and then they made him like a fifth dimensional imp situation.
Well, he ended up becoming a god type thing, and
that goes to your Beyonder argument and everything. So that's what I'm saying.
Once again,
we take a brand new character like
no. The Batman Who Laughed, even though it didn't end well. It started great. Well, Beyonder didn't even begin well. The first pages you see the Beyonder, I'm like, with the little star, I'm like, I need to.
No, the Beyonder's best appearance is Avengers: New Avengers and the Fantastic Four saga thing that Hickman did. That's the best that you could ever get.
That's the best you could do with that character.
But that goes to your point about having a good writer on it, because Hickman's amazing at it.
Somebody because Hickman did a great job. But once again, remember, I'm going back to when you first started Secret Wars 1 and 2. The reasoning behind the character was like, okay, are you fucking serious? And this is me as a kid. I'm like, so what is he? He's like Gary Seven.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't need that. Like I said, once again, though, I think too many people put the highlight reel ahead of the story, and that's when you get situations like
Anthony's got a couple relevant questions for you, and then you got another Green Lantern Guy Gardner's in the chat.
All right, the Green Lanterns guys, come on, what are we doing here?
They're all different though, right?
Nobody has Kilowog yet. I think I need to head off because I need to do some dinner prep.
Yeah, in fact, we probably need to go ahead and sign off here in a minute.
Why does someone write me as Parallax?
Because you're the lamest Green Lantern ever. That's why.
Because nobody cares if Guy Gardner got turned into the Parallax.
The reason why Parallax was created. The reason why Parallax. Well, no, because okay, you couldn't give away Green Lantern in 1993 to 1990 until Kyle Rayner came along.
Well, you
You
couldn't threaten
literally,
people with Green Lantern with Guy Gardner. Okay, I see
But I'm
there.
just saying that making Hal the host of Parallax made that Parallax an interesting, or a compelling character, right? That was the intent.
no, the intent was to give finality so that people knew that they were never bringing Hal Jordan back. Back when they did that, when they killed him, when he was the cause of Zero Hour and all that, when all the stuff he would become, they wanted to do either one thing. They wanted to kill him off for good, forever. They wanted to Captain Marvel him. But a lot of people thought, okay, that's too trash. You know, we never know. And it would be another 15, 20 years before you would see him again as that character. But what was happening is, I think was it Ron Mars, whoever was writing it at the time. I think it was Ron Mars. I can't. They were like, we are never going to get to where we need to get with this brand new Green Lantern that we believe that can sell books as long as there's a possibility that that guy can come back. So we either need to bring him across the bridge of no return or we need to kill him. So they ended up kind of doing both. And you didn't see Hal Jordan for a long time come back as a Spectre and did all that stuff. But you did not legit from 1995 to 2011. Kyle Rayner was your primary.
Did he come back after New 52, or did he come back during the Lantern War?
I think he came back during Rebirth. I think no, he came back in
Green Lantern
2000.
Rebirth. Green Lantern, not Rebirth, but Green Lantern Rebirth. Yes.
And they told the story of the whole YE, you know.
Yeah, that was right before the
that. And I'm like,
Lantern War starts,
and I'm like, I just wanted to throw that shit in the garbage. I ended up just selling it to somebody, but that's why you had that, because like I said, they needed to create a dedicated space for Kyle Rayner to exist in without the possibility of, you know, and they did it in a way that it was hard for another writer to bring him back. Once you did that with Hal Jordan in the 90s, it was really hard to bring him back, and that's what they wanted to do. It pissed off a lot of old school Green Lantern fans. But my question to them, just like it was then, where the hell were you guys when this book was literally
Emerald Twilight in 94 or 95 or 96? You know?
95.
So do you think that's part of that same wave of Bane and Doomsday?
No, because you weren't. Superman sales are all right. They weren't great. They were all right. They weren't good enough for a flagship show. Green Lantern was about to get canceled. Green Lantern was legit about to get canceled. We thought as dealers that they were going to cancel it with issue 50 and have a big giant size, say goodbye, you know, because it's been canceled 3 times before. That was the Green Lantern that Kyle Rayner appeared in was volume 3. So it had been canceled before. So we're like, as dealers, like, we're going to stop our solicitation on this. That's how bad Green Lantern sales were. Superman sales were still good. But they, like I said, the thing that happened with Green Lantern wasn't aimed at a speculator buyer. It was aimed at a certain demographic who didn't. They looked at old Hal Jordan with his great temples, and they couldn't relate to that character. What they needed to do is they needed to bring the character relatable to a relatable demographic that a kid buying a comic at that time can relate to, because relatability is a big part of buying some of these comics. It's what made both Spider-Men what they are. So that's what.
To that point, to that very point, with all these superhero movies, with all the leads in these movies being in their 40s and 50s, like on the Marvel side, the DC side, everything, do you think that relatability, same idea comes into that they're going to have to do something to make those characters relatable, or just come up with new characters? What? In
some cases, yes. In some, like, because Robert Downey is like a god to all demographics at this point. But I think some of their characters who are not that mega level in the MCU, and which is the other 90% of them, I think it will get to a point to where if you're wanting
swap actors,
you're gonna have to, you know, put somebody in there that is relatable to the generation.
So do you make these characters, like, do you do the what do they call it, the sliding Marvel timeline in the movies, or do you say that these people are always in their 30s? Everybody's forever in their 30s, and they just have people in between that age group, late 20s to mid 40s, playing.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to recycle. You're gonna have to cycle them out. You're gonna have.
So are they ever going to be young? My point is, are they ever going to be young again? So, like, we've seen all the things Tony Stark goes through, but if you don't reboot, I know you don't like the word, but I'm just using it as shorthand. If you don't reboot and you continue that character's story, and then you make him 25, 30 again, without, you know, saying he got hit with a youth ray in the story or some shit like that, how do you make him relatable to that demographic that's you're still wanting to sell those tickets? Or, you know, if just The story
You
in general,
don't-
whether it's a movie, whether it's a comic book, but the story in general. We're using the movie because it's the most
Yeah.
consumed,
All
right?
right. So when it comes to movies, yes,
Uh-huh.
you can recycle it and get a new. I think it's better and better for business if you
Uh-huh.
just run that cycle with those characters and move on to different characters.
Okay.
It's different when it's a comic because you can keep Superman 40 or 30 forever.
Forever.
You can keep a baby as long it can be a baby for 50 years. You can do that if you want to. When it comes to motion pictures and things like that, the
But
bandwidth.
do you see where I'm going? You see where I'm going with this? Because all these people that we love in all these movies, they've been doing it for 15 years, and they weren't 25 when they started doing it. They were in their 30s and 40s.
They weren't,
so-
but I think you have a larger risk of the story running its course than the
Mhm.
character aging out. I think you have
Okay.
a bigger risk of running the course of a Captain America Iron Man story for that time, because then you don't have to do it again. Because the situation that they're in right now, like I said, they got that trinity that I've been waiting forever for them to get to, which is the Spider-Man, which they already have, Fantastic Four, and then you bring in X-Men. Okay. You have a good percentage of villains that are just, you could fill up a bucket just with those alone. And then after this, they have ran their course, then you come back and see where you want to be. But right now, I don't think it's necessary as a blanket rule. Now, like when it comes to Wolverine, we will eventually, Hugh Jackson's not going to play the role forever. I know they're joking about it, but eventually you are going to, as you fashion your story, you are going to want characters that fit within the flow of that story. And it's going to mean, redoing things and getting, like, who knows if we're ever going to get a younger Captain America again. Right now, the story does not require different versions of those particular characters because they ran their course. We have not told an X-Men story, and an X-Men story will involve Wolverine, who we have seen. So you see what I mean?
So
It's situational.
Drogo's got a good question, right? And I was kind of thinking this: if Superman has Doomsday and Batman has Bane, who did Wonder Woman have? Was that like an era of the fall of the heroes? Because I was literally going to ask that, because if you do put Hal Jordan into that thing, okay, then Hal Jordan had his fall, and then Barry was already dead, so they were going through the Wally storyline. So that,
I mean, she, for that particular time, she was literally fighting gods. She was fighting Ares. She was fighting. She actually stopped being Wonder Woman. That was a big deal.
Okay, so what? Talk about that. That was, what year was that?
That
And
was
Donna Troy her replacement at that time, or how?
No, Artemis.
Artemis.
Okay. Artemis was her replacement.
Because,
and by the way,
Nightwing or Azrael ended up being the Batman at the time. But,
yeah, don't remind me. The thing about Wonder Woman, it wasn't just a story that saved that book, because that was another book that was about to get canceled again. Mike Deodato Jr. I will never forget his run on Thor and his run on Wonder Woman saved that book. Mike Deodato Jr.'s run on Wonder Woman made that book a must get, even if you weren't reading it. He drew, Google, you guys, Mike Deodato Jr., Wonder Woman, and Google how she was being drawn before. I am going to, say to myself then, I guess, even if I'm the only one who believes it, the way he drew Wonder Woman in that period of time was up the ante for everybody else to draw her in a way that had to be that way, because he drew every panel like it was like Rembrandt. It was good. His covers were great. He did a Thor. A run on Thor where Thor was dying, and the Enchantress is on the cover. I mean, his covers were beautiful. He was one of those artists that were coming along, and along with McFarlane and everybody else, that Marvel was able, and the two big ones were able to keep. He didn't go. I don't think he ever went to Image, but he saved that book. They took out Wonder Woman, put in Artemis, but it wasn't. It was part of a much larger story of her pissing off the gods and being, all kinds of stuff in it. And then the artworks, like I said, we can bring that up on a comic book turning point story when we bring that back.
Chuck Cage is kind of supporting your point as far as like where the Marvel kind of storyline kind of running course goes. I don't know like what the end result of all that would be, but he's kind of in agreement with that. And then Anthony has some some comments.
Apparently Anthony has a bunch of, dude, I can't
just pick one or two of them, you know what I mean?
Let me consolidate this stuff. Dude, you have 2 paragraphs in here, Anthony.
Well, no, actually, no, really. It's probably anxiety.
Yeah, you know what, Anthony? Type them in the comments, dude. Type them in the comments, because These guys, Brad. This is Brad's fault.
What?
Brad and his
Hashtag blame Brad.
unbridled affection for a hollow and shallow character added an hour.
Oh, who that has been the subject.
I
of
think
a
Brad
lot
added
of-
a lot of things to think about.
who by the way is the first thing you see in Zack Snyder's Justice League in one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. Just saying, and is also the final villain in another of the greatest ones ever made. Just saying, and also is a major villain in one of the best Superman TV show of all time. Just saying. This hollow character that William has such disdain for they return to him for live action.
I gave my reasoning why I don't like these type of characters. Period. It's not just Doomsday. Any character you do this with, I'm going all the way back to the 40-year-old Beyonder. These all follow the same playbook. They all follow the same playbook. And like I said, and it's easier for me to make my case when I got this guy rolling around doing the exact opposite and doing it the way it used to be done. Scott Snyder, if you're coming, dude, you open invitation, man. Open invitation.
Brad.
All right, guys. Well, I apologize for Brad adding on an hour to the show.
What?
Brad, the Codex is Candor. The Codex is Candor. You guys were talking about the
Pretty much,
Codex
yeah.
is Candor.
Yeah. All right.
Try.
Yes,
We
try.
will see you. Hey,
Try now,
you guys, this camera can't annoy me anymore. Go ahead and try all the way.
There he goes. He said it. He said it. He said it.
This was a Penguin watch along, by the way. I want you guys to stream back and find out where it just ran off the road. I think it looks a lot.
We talked some good comic
like
talk
yeah,
at the
that
bottom of the
guy.
comic
Oh,
book show.
what?
I think it looks
Try.
a lot like that guy. And this guy instigating.
Instigating
That
what,
guy.
man? I'm just being a bystander.
Oh yeah, high five, Spidey.
Guy with a gasoline can.
There.
All right. Well, I gotta go eat. We will see you on Tuesday unless there's some breaking news, and I don't think there's gonna be.
Yeah,
I'm
here's
not.
Ladia.
Is Talia still there?
I don't know.
Bye,
He might
Ladia.
have fell asleep.
Yeah, he is in a different time zone. It is 8:00 in the
Yeah,
morning.
yeah.
All right.
guy got
Dodgers
his
should
head
be going up 3-0 tomorrow in the World Series.
Hmm.
So and if
You'll
they
be in a
don't,
good mood
like I
if
said,
that happens.
I'll be in a good mood. If they don't, they better not. that needs to be it. Like I said, they're up 2-0. I did not expect them to be up 2-0. I thought they were going to lose yesterday. They did not. Yamamoto came out and shut these fools down. But they're going back to New York, and some of their guys that have been choking will see that ball a lot better in New York than they did in L.A. Brocker Buehler's got to be ready. He is a big-time pitcher with a World Series ring on his finger. I think if there is a potential for the Dodgers to go up 3-0, I would not be the least surprised if the Yankees, because it's a must-win for them. If their season is, you go down 3-0, only one other baseball team has come back from 0, and that was the 0-4 Red Sox. They've been playing baseball for 110 years. So usually teams who win the first 2 games, 82% of those teams win the series if it's a best of 7. That's what I need to happen. I need a boring next 2 games so I can get my T-shirt, I can get my hat, and I can, not have a Fire Dave Roberts parade every year. All right, guys, that's it. Keep an eye out for my my review of Absolute Wonder Woman. Be on the channel pretty soon. And like I said, please forgive everyone else on the panel but me. I can't listen.
Oh,
I can't control the nonsense that comes out of their mouths.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
enjoyed
dry.
that, though.
Except for Taladia. Taladia was a good.
Well, Taladia tells me everybody was talking about Gonapath during the Evil Dead Watch Parties yesterday. So Taladia clearly, he gets it as much as Aaron gets it.
Monkey Man's life after Gonapath's raid.
Yeah, that sounds like I would see that in a heartbeat.
All right. See you
All right.
Tuesday.